All right, deep divers, welcome back. You've been digging into North Bay resources, and let me tell you, things are heating up over there.
Yeah.
Today we're diving into some news that's so fresh you can practically smell the pine trees around their Bishop Gold Mill out in California.
Ah, the scent of success.
Right. North Bay just dropped a news release announcing they've officially produced their first gold concentrate. It's a big moment. It's their first foray into actual gold production at the Bishop Mill.
Yeah, it really marks a turning point for the company, moving beyond exploration and development and into the exciting and often challenging phase of production.
Okay, so let's break down what's happening here.
Yeah.
The press release mentions this process of striation of gold happening on a Deaster table.
Yeah.
I have to bet I had to lick that one up.
Yeah.
Turns out it's basically a tilted vibrating table that helps separate the gold from other materials.
It's quite a visual, too. You know, the release even includes a picture. You can actually see these streaks of gold forming on the table as it vibrates. It really highlights the density of gold compared to the surrounding material.
And it's not just sitting there looking pretty. North Bay is shipping that concentrate. This week, to a refinery in Reno, Nevada, things are moving fast.
That speed is crucial. Getting the concentrate to the refinery quickly means they can start generating revenue sooner. It shows a real focus on turning their efforts into tangible results.
So once the concentrate arrives in Reno, both North Bay and an independent lab will assay it.
Right.
Which basically means they're verifying exactly how much gold is in there. Then North Bay gets paid based on that gold content.
And this is where it gets interesting for anyone following the company. You see, their payment is tied to the spot price of gold. So what's happening in the global market right now has a direct impact on their bottom line.
It's like this little microcosm of global economics playing out in a gold mine.
Precisely. It reminds us that even something as seemingly isolated as a gold mine is deeply connected to the wider world.
Now here's where North Bay is really shaking things up. They're transitioning from a method called gravity separation to something called flotation.
It's a fascinating move. As we've seen, gravity separation relies on density to separate the gold. But flotation uses chemicals to literally float the gold particles to the surface, making it easier to collect.
So they're essentially leveling up their extraction game.
Yeah.
What's the big advantage of flotation for North Bay, do you think?
Well, flotation is often more efficient, especially when dealing with finer gold particles that might be missed by gravity separation alone. And from what we know about the ore at Bishop, this could lead to a significant increase in their gold recovery rate.
Interesting. So it's not just about getting the gold out. It's about getting as much of it out as possible.
Right.
And doing it efficiently. It seems like a smart move.
Especially when you consider the costs involved in mining operations. Every percentage point increase in gold recovery can translate into a significant boost in profitability.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's all about maximizing their output, ultimately their returns.
Exactly. And this focus on efficiency becomes even more apparent when we look at another aspect of their operation, the Fran Gold project.
Ah, yes, the Fran Gold project. Now we're talking, this is where things get really interesting. They're moving a lot of ore. We're talking super sacks holding 1 metric ton, each loaded onto boxcars carrying 100 tons at a time. It's a massive logistical operation.
The scale is impressive, but what's even more impressive is their commitment to cost effectiveness.
Oh, tell me more.
They've actually managed to significantly reduce their transportation costs. The ore is traveling from the Fran Gold Mine to Modesto, then onwards to the Bishop Gold Mill, and they've got it down to just $260 per ton.
Wow, that's quite a feat.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider the distances involved.
It really speaks to their operational efficiency. Transportation is a major expense in any mining operation, so being able to streamline that process has a direct impact on their profitability.
So it sounds like North Bay isn't just focused on getting the gold. They're focused on getting it in the smartest, most cost-effective way possible. Is that right?
Absolutely. And that kind of strategic thinking is crucial for any company's long-term success.
All right, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's rewind a bit and dive into the Fran Gold project itself. What are we looking at here?
Okay, picture this. 34,360 acres of land, just 20 miles from Centerra Gold's massive Emp Milligan mine. That alone tells you a lot about the potential of this region.
Okay, I'm picturing it, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning.
You're right. We're just scratching the surface here. So we've got 34,360 acres to play with here. That's bigger than the entire city of San Francisco.
Wow, that puts it into perspective. Being so close to a major player like Centerra Gold's Milligan mine must be a good sign, right?
Absolutely. The fact that Centerra has invested heavily in the region suggests they see significant potential for gold deposits in this area.
So North Bay's not just venturing into any old patch of land. They're setting up shop in a proven gold-producing region. That's smart.
It speaks to their strategic approach. And they haven't been sitting around twiddling their thumbs either.
They're really serious about uncovering what's down there.
And they've got something to show for it. They've identified a gold deposit stretching over 3,700 feet in length, with widths of up to 120 feet and depths exceeding 700 feet.
Those are some serious dimensions.
There are 3 or 4 well-defined parallel veins within that deposit, with grades reaching as high as 2.6 ounces of gold per ton.
Okay, back up a second. 2.6 ounces per ton. That's incredibly high grade. No wonder they're so excited about this project.
Those high-grade veins are definitely a major draw. But here's what's particularly interesting. The deposit also contains wide sections of low and mid-grade ore.
Wouldn't that be less desirable? I mean, wouldn't they want to focus on the high-grade stuff?
That's a good question. It all comes down to the economics of mining. While those high-grade veins offer a concentrated burst of riches, they can be depleted relatively quickly. The presence of lower-grade ore provides longevity to the operation.
So it's about balancing the short-term gains with long-term sustainability.
Exactly. It's like having a diversified portfolio for a gold mine. The high-grade veins are your high-risk, high-reward investments, while the lower-grade ore provides a steady, reliable return over time.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about playing the long game, not just going for the quick win.
Precisely. And there are other factors that contribute to the potential of the Fran Gold project. For example, surface trenching has revealed a near-surface subzone where the gold-bearing veins are more easily accessible.
So easier to mine and potentially less expensive.
Exactly. It reduces the complexity and cost of extraction, making those near-surface deposits particularly valuable.
Wow, it seems like they've really lucked out with this project.
But wait, there's more, right? Didn't you mention something about copper and silver, too?
You've got a good memory. Some samples have shown promising grades of copper and silver, reaching up to 1.68% copper and 5.1 ounces of silver per ton.
Hold on, so we've got gold, we've got copper, we've got silver. This is like a precious metal trifecta.
It certainly speaks to the diverse mineral potential of the property. And here's the kicker. North Bay believes there's property-wide potential for even more discoveries.
Wait, property-wide? You mean there could be even more gold, copper, and silver hidden on those 34,000 acres?
That's what they're hoping. The current exploration efforts have only focused on specific zones, so there's a vast expanse of land that remains largely unexplored.
Well, it's starting to sound like a real-life treasure hunt.
Well, maybe not quite that dramatic, but the sense of potential is definitely there. Okay, so let's zoom out for a minute and put all of this into perspective. We've got North Bay celebrating their first gold concentrate production at the Bishop Gold Mill. That's a huge accomplishment. And then we've got this massive Fran Gold project with the potential for long-term production, high-grade veins, and the possibility of even more discoveries.
It's a compelling combination of current success and future potential.
Absolutely. But here's where things get really interesting, and I think this is where you, our listener, come in. With gold production now generating revenue for North Bay, they're at a crossroads.
They're facing some big decisions, that's for sure.
Exactly. Do they focus on maximizing output at Bishop, or do they pour resources into further exploration at Fran Gold? And what about those hints of copper and silver? How do they prioritize their efforts?
These are the million-dollar questions. Literally, the decisions they make now will shape the future of the company.
And that's what makes this so fascinating to follow. It's not just about digging up gold. It's about strategy, risk assessment, and long-term vision.
It's about understanding the complex dynamics of the mining industry and navigating the challenges and opportunities that come with it.
All right, deep divers, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've seen North Bay transition from exploration to production. We've explored the potential of the Fran Gold project, and we've considered the strategic decisions that lie ahead.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It has. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought. Now that North Bay is generating revenue, they have a responsibility to their investors to make smart, profitable decisions.
Their actions will be scrutinized, and their performance will be measured against expectations.
Exactly. So here's the question I want you to ponder. What would you do if you were in North Bay's shoes? How would you balance the allure of exploration with the need for immediate returns?
It's a complex challenge, but it's one that every successful mining company must face.
And that's the beauty of it. It's not just about digging up gold. It's about digging deep into the world of business, finance, and strategy.
It's about understanding the forces that shape our world and the decisions that drive success.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder those big questions. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. And as always, keep exploring. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new discoveries or that first gold pour. But building a successful mining operation takes a lot more. It takes some strategic decision-making and a commitment to doing things the right way.
Yeah, and a little bit of luck never hurts either.
Uh-huh, that's true. But even with the best plans, there are always challenges. The price of gold could drop. Unexpected geological formations could make extraction more difficult, or permitting issues could cause delays.
It's a high-stakes game for sure.
Yeah.
North Bay is really just at the beginning of their journey. It'll be really interesting to see how they navigate these challenges and capitalize on the opportunities that come up.
Yeah, it really is. It's a reminder that even in an industry like mining, there's a constant need for adaptation and innovation, a willingness to take risks.
It's not just about digging up gold. It's about digging deep into the complexities of business, understanding how global trends and market forces impact even the most remote mining operation.
And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. It's not just a story about gold. It's a story about human ingenuity, ambition, and the pursuit of valuable resources.
Well said. To all our deep divers out there, I encourage you to keep following North Bay's progress.
Yeah.
Pay attention to their quarterly reports, watch for news updates, and see how their decisions unfold.
It's a real-world case study in the dynamics of the mining industry. And who knows, you might even learn a thing or two about investing along the way.
Exactly. And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity about the world of resource extraction, don't stop here. There's a whole universe of information out there waiting to be discovered.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those deep dives going.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating deep dive.